A renovation of the Lincoln Memorial reflective pool. Well, it's not going well. It's not going well. Apparently, it's overrun with algae. And the blue paint. And the blue paint lining the bottom is peeling off in clumps. It's very much like his presidency. But he is claiming that vandals are to blame. He says they illegally placed chemicals in the water and left a 300-foot gash in the pool. Now, 5 people are said to have been arrested. He says a 10-year prison sentence will be strictly enforced.
Oh.
Well, if he's saying he's going to jail for 10 years, I'm going to let him go. Because, I mean, it seems to me that had he not messed with the pool, you know, it would still be a reflecting pool instead of a liquid jungle, which is what it looks like. But to accuse 5 people of doing this, but seemingly there's no proof, because I want to know who left a 300-foot gash in the pool and
that
nobody.
That would be tough to do, and not get like footage of somebody doing it.
And nobody would see it. I mean, and you know, they have been trying to clean this up since before it actually turned green. Well, it was when it was turning kind of pseudo-green. But so what do you make of all of this?
Listen, I could sit here and hear you laugh about it the entire hour, but okay, let's discuss it.
But look at this. I mean, they look like they are fishing in the reflecting pool. They're trying to get the algae out.
Yeah.
This thing never had algae before.
It looked just as green as the grass. It looks as green as the envy he has for Barack Obama and John F. Kennedy.
To jog by this all the time when I lived in D.C.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. One of the things I loved is you'd see ducks and geese swimming in it. Listen, it wasn't always the cleanest thing, but like wildlife could safely live in it. There was a photo going on X of a duck that had died in it, because now there's all these chemicals they're putting in it. They're putting in hydrogen peroxide. Listen, I kind of get the sense that'll peel the paint. I get the sense from time to time that the president would rather be on like Property Brothers than like govern with everything that's going on. Like deal with healthcare, deal with inflation, the war in Iran. This is not a good deal. But his focus seems to be like, what can I be changing? And I'm all for spruce things up ahead of America's 250, but this was clearly not the right way to do it. Did you get scientists? Did you get the Army Corps of Engineers involved? Or did you go with like the lowest contract bid and have the likely outcome?
Did anyone actually bid for it?
No, it was a no-bid contract, actually, by a buddy of his. I think maybe that guy is his pool guy.
If we have a picture, pull it.
I think it's just like, it looks like his pool guy. I think maybe it's just his pool guy.
He looks like he's not wearing his own hair.
I think
it looks like he's, that might be DT. That might be him.
Yeah,
that might be you will know who in disguise.
It's called, the federal records confirm that it's the Atlantic Industrial Coatings is I guess, the people that painted the pool, that guy's company. No. Oh, that guy's Green Water Solutions. I'm sorry. But the federal records confirm that Atlantic Industrial Coatings, I guess they painted the bottom of the pool. They had 0 history of prior federal government contracts, and they secured this high-profile, no-bid contract.
You're telling me he hired someone unqualified for a job?
The part that got me was he was really upset, like the 10-year prison system. He's like, who would damage a monument? That is sick and deranged people.
He damaged the monument.
When did he start caring about the monuments in Washington, D.C.? Because he didn't mind when the Capitol was stormed, and he was willing to pardon those people. So it just feels a little hypocritical for me.
It's just that he cares a tiny bit.
This Washington, D.C. beautification project of his is the most laughable thing. We got a hole where the East Wing used to be.
That's right.
We got the Gobi Desert where the ellipse used to be, where he held the UFC thing. Yeah. We've got a tarp around the Kennedy Center. Yeah. We've got, you know, this has turned into the big green swamp, the reflecting pool. But, you know, and it's just also the amount of money without going through the process that are being spent. It's billions of dollars between the ballroom and the Arch de Triomphe and the pool and the this and the that. And something that we haven't talked about enough in this country that I want to talk about, because one of the things I was thinking about today is while this is happening, while he is misspending money the way he is misspending it, there is no water in parts of Puerto Rico.
That's right.
And there hasn't been water there for weeks because there is an aging aqueduct, there's an aging water system and an aging electric grid that this president refuses to invest in and pay attention to. And so there are so many different things happening in America because let us remember Puerto Rico is in the United States, we are letting Americans go with a shortage of water for weeks. While he spends billions of dollars on his vanity projects.
And I'm glad you brought that up because in some places in Puerto Rico, it's been months. It's been months. And that's despicable in this United States. I will also say that this administration has proposed significant reductions to the National Park Service funding. So they've not only cut funding or proposed cut funding, what they've also done is they've removed or revised exhibits. Whoopi and I discussed this with J.D. Vance at dozens of park sites dealing with slavery.
You and I discussed it. He said he didn't know anything about it.
He said he didn't know anything about it, but we brought it up because we know it's true. So the administration has removed or revised exhibits at dozens of park sites dealing in particular with slavery, civil rights, indigenous history, and climate change. And a federal judge, thankfully, recently ordered many of them to be restored. So we know that it's been happening. So rather than taking down exhibits at national parks, he is making a green
Are we going to have to pay for this twice? And the reason I say it is they painted it blue because he wanted it to look different. But there was a reason it wasn't painted blue, because the color of the blue attracts the heat, which makes this ongoing algae problem actually worse. And then they went to correct it with hydrogen peroxide, which peeled the paint that they just painted.
And apparently killed the duck.
Killed the duck.
Killed the duck. So if you're going to mess up the project you just charged taxpayers for, do we pay twice?
Well, no, here's what I want somebody to sue. Because if a contractor did this at your house, this is what you would do. I think the country needs to say, we're suing you for doing this without our permission, and we're suing the people who did it because clearly they didn't know what they were doing. Clearly. But, you know, it's just a suggestion. Because, you know, a lot of money is going away, you know, and I hate to think this, but I think that it's very clear to me. He's angry at Puerto Rico as well. He's angry at Puerto Rico. He's angry at America. That's why he's put us through all of this ridiculousness. Because
remember, he wanted to trade them in for Greenland or something.
So for me, if you really cared about the country, you could not continue to do what you're doing. So all I say is, you know, we all know what we have to do. Whatever side you vote on, because there are mindful Republicans, there are mindful Democrats. We have to get the country back on track. We, the voters, Don't let them tell you because there's been gerrymandering in your area. Don't let them tell you that your vote doesn't count. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote. The days of being a one-issue voter are over. We got to vote for each other here. Make sure